Howdy everybody on my Patreon channel. This is Amy. I guess you know that. It's a little bit different doing these Patreon videos, but I know I hadn't gotten one up lately, so I thought I'd sit here and do a little whip and chat for a bit. My hubby just went outside though. He's going to try to fix the lawnmower and do some mowing, so hopefully the sound won't get in the way. We have a riding lawnmower because we sit on almost an acre of land here, and it's pretty wild up against the state park, so it's not like pretty land like you would picture. We live on the edge of the desert, so it's full of prickly pear and mesquite everywhere, but it is our little corner of the world, and we enjoy it. But my kiddos just stepped out, so my older kiddo could take his sister to work, so we're all just hanging out. So I don't do whip and chats very often because I don't have that much to chat about that I necessarily want the whole world to know. But I thought maybe I'd try doing a little bit more whip and chatting on a Patreon where it's a little bit cozier group and those that choose to be here. So I do appreciate the support. Thank you very much. And just checking in here, and if you've been wondering why I haven't gotten any regular videos up for the last couple days, it's because I did one for Dreamer Designs that they asked me to do, and I sent the link to them to get approval before I put it out there. And it's the first time I've ever dealt with anything like this, so I'm a little bit nervous about it. Wasn't really sure I wanted to do it. I put it off way longer than I should have. So Dreamer Designs has a new app. It's a Dreamer Diaries app for iOS and Android, and it's for logging your diamond paintings and the time you spend, and they have a contest in there and a shuffle thing. But they asked me to do an intro and an outro, as they call it, I guess, to their diamond painting app video that they created that was professionally done. So I thought, oh, that sounds easy, sure. And what they offered me was not any money, but free use of the premium version of the app. And I thought, well, okay, I can probably do that. But the more that I thought about it and the more I worked on it, the harder and harder it became until I finally got it done last night. Hopefully it is what they want. I'm hoping to hear from them soon, though. The silence kind of always makes you worry. Maybe they're just busy and haven't had time to look at it. It's really only about a 5-minute video. But I like to not be too tied into one particular company or too much affiliated with a company like DAC, Diamond Art Club, because I don't want to sell myself out. I want to be able to say what I want to say, and so getting affiliated with a big company like Dreamer Designs, I do enjoy them, I do like them, but I don't want people to feel like I've turned into a salesperson and a fan club for the company, so I'm not going to be honest, and that makes it kind of tricky. So you know that you're doing a paid promotional ad for them, but at the same time, I think I'm not going to do a paid promotional ad unless I agree with what I'm promoting. So I had to spend a few days working with the app and playing around with it, and I do find that it is a good enough app that I was willing to do the little video for them. So the trouble, though, with those kind of videos is I never like the ones that are scripted. They kind of gave me a little intro script if I wanted to use it, but I just couldn't do it because part of me is being able to just speak naturally. I don't come with notes unless it's just prices for my PR packages. I'll put the names of the items and the prices and keep them by me, but I don't really go with notes. And so that made that video really hard, and it took me several tries, but leading up to that video, what I was doing was trying to organize and make some sense of my collection so I could actually use the app and put my diamond paintings in that collection. So I'm going to post a couple pictures here. So I'm going to put a picture up of what my living room looks like right now. So ignore the disaster and the dog. That's Mocha Dog in that picture because she always wants to be in the middle of things. But that's what I've been trying to do, is log all my diamond paintings. It's been over a year since I did a stash video. Actually, it was a series of videos from different companies and did it kind of by subject matter for my diamond paintings. But I just let things pile up since then. And so I had no real organization. And it got to the point where I was looking at a couple of diamond paintings and I couldn't remember if I bought them or not because they were older ones. I don't always get things on release day. I kind of wait a little bit usually. But anyway, all that to say, I've been spending a fair amount of time going through and cataloging and taking pictures and loading into that app all of my diamond paintings. And the app works great for Dreamer Designs paintings because you just scan the barcode and all the information is uploaded. But I don't have only Dreamer Designs. I'm going to fold this paper back so I can do this little line here. I have actually more Diamond Art Club than anything else, as a lot of us do, because they're prolific producers of diamond paintings and have really good marketing. So before you really realize some of the marketing tricks employs, you're caught in the middle of it. So I say tricks employs, that's part of my trouble with not being able to be very good at marketing. I mean, that's part of what you do, is get people to free up their money for you instead of other places. So I mean, that's how the business works. Anyway, all that to say, I wanted to do my video naturally, so I messed with the app for a couple days, had a couple questions, emailed support and got a quick response, and then proceeded to do the video as best I could based on what I had learned from the app, but at the same time still sounding like I was doing a sales pitch for them. So sales pitches just aren't my thing, but hopefully they'll approve that video. As you can see here, this is the other thing I have to talk about, the horrible black drills. Black drills are just horrible. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. But anyway, post a couple pictures up there of the stash mess that I've been going through and what it's doing to my living room. But I just had to take a break because if you're not entering a Dreamer Designs canvas into that app, you have to look up a lot of stuff. And right now the app is set up to where you can't leave any of the fields blank, which is one of the things I sent an email to them about, because you don't always want to have to look up all that information. Sometimes you don't really care, and there are some fields that I really didn't care about, so I just made up stuff. That was the quickest and easiest way, once I found out there really was no way to disable the deal. And the fields that you have to include are the price and the number of total diamonds for the painting, because they're also using it for their contest, where they do giveaways every couple months based on the amount of diamond painting you do. It's kind of a neat deal. It's very motivating for those that want to do that. But I've never counted the number of diamonds I'm placing and the amount of time I spend and all that stuff. For people that do that, that's great, but that's just not me. So I was just kind of doing a guesstimate on those things. So there's a lot of the stuff in my app that says it was $40 bucks, dollars, comes out ballers, $40 and 60,000 diamonds on them. So I just kind of made up the numbers. If I want to go back and fix them, if I really care, then I will later on. I'm not entering into their contest at this point. However, I want to try that part of the app eventually. But in order for that to work, if you've not been involved with the Dreamer Designs Facebook page or know about their contest, it's only available in the app now, not on their Facebook page anymore. But you take a start picture of an empty canvas with the date on it so that they know it is a true start picture. And then you work on it and post a completion picture with a sticky note with the date on it. And so that way they know that you actually did the work during the time frame, because the time frame for their contest is every 2 months, and it's just an ongoing deal. Every 2 months they give away, they say, about $500 in prizes. I don't know if it's first, second, third. I haven't looked into the details enough to know. But for those of you that want the incentive, but I think you have to do Dreamer Designs canvases for that, and that's why the app is set up to scan in your Dreamer Designs barcode and log all the information for you. But I'm using it in a little more general sense just to keep track of what I have. So I do like a lot of aspects of it. I like adding tags and being able to search by those tags, and it is quick and easy for Dreamer Designs canvases to get them in there. And I like the spin the wheel idea for if you're not sure what to work on next. That'll give you a couple choices. You don't have to go with it. You can spin it again, but it gives you a quick way to look at everything you have so that you remember what you have. And I also liked that all your works in progress show up at the top of the app on the main page that you can scroll through, so it can remind you what you have that you're working on, because all of mine sit piled on top of each other on the coffee table, and although I have a pretty good idea of what's there, they're not staring at me in the face every day. So it's easy to let a couple kind of slip past for a few months without getting any work done on them, because they're not just sitting there staring at you saying, hey, put some diamonds on me. Your diamond paintings speak to you, right? Okay, mine don't either, but so mine all just sit in a pile, the ones that aren't done, on my coffee table. They're covered up, they don't get damaged or anything like that. That's the safest place for them, where they can lay flat, because I do have the Three Graces J-Wall from Diamond Painting Deutschland that is double-sided adhesive, so I have to keep at least that one laid flat. And I have others, not that I'm working on right now, but I do have other double-sided adhesive canvases that will end up being worked on over time. So I do like that part of the app, that I can just look at the pictures of everything right at the top and scroll through them and say, oh yeah, I need to work on that one for a little while. Because I am a diamond painting rotation person. I don't like to work on one for very long, as this one is kind of frustrating me. I'll talk about that in a minute too. But I do like to put at least a little time into each one. So why is this one frustrating me? Well, this is, of course, Crazy Cat Lady. If you don't recognize it, this is a Dreamer Designs version here of Hannah Lynn's Crazy Cat Lady. It is my first Hannah Lynn, which means there's a lot of black drills for the outlining. So I found it easiest. I've already done, already done one row here across the bottom. Gonna try to make messes of everything. Here we go. Can kind of see some of the details. I'm really zoomed in though. I'll zoom out at the end so you can get a better look at it. But the way Hannah Lynn's work, everything is outlined in black. So I found it easiest after doing the first bottom row is to do all the black outlining, because black drills, no matter what the company, I've had the same problem with Diamond Art Club. I don't have as much trouble though, honestly, with the budget friendlies. It's the resin drills and the tight grid spacing combo that seems to cause me the most trouble fighting with black drills, but you have to pick through them because the resin drills have a bunch of tabs and things sticking out, like this one right here. Not sure if you can see that in my hand. It has a little tab that makes it not lie flat. And the sizing is off on some of them. They're just too big to fit in the space. Usually too big instead of too small. So I do the outlining first because those drills are going to be a bit wonky and sometimes bigger, and I find they just fit easier. I'm going to do a little moving around here because I like to do full rows on the edges here, so I'm going to adjust this to make it just a little bit easier to finish those last black ones on this row. There we go. Hopefully that'll work. But anyway, so I like to place the black drills first, but then this part does frustrate me because I have to pick through them. I can't multi-place. Some of them I think look okay, and then I try to push them in there and they won't meet up with the other drills, and because I missed a little tab or the fact that it was just a little bit bigger, and you can't really line them up in the tray very good. These are, you can see they're all just kind of stuck together in some cases. And it's any company's black drills that are resin. I actually find that I do enjoy budget-friendly kits because they use acrylic drills, which don't have a lot of the tab issues and other issues that resin drills have like that. And the spacing is a little bit looser, which is maybe why I've always liked Dreamer Designs, because I like the looser spacing because it was just easier for me to place the drills, and the spacing didn't show up at the end as a problem. Just gonna put that off to the side. There's a messed up one. So anyway, the trouble with a Hannah Lynn is that there's so much black that if it annoys you, every single square you know is going to have that problem. And so sometimes I need a little motivation to get that done. I got the bottom right square here done yesterday, so I'll probably put this away again after I finish this one. We'll see. Maybe I'll get one more done. But the second thing I do after I place the black drills is I place the rhinestones. Because, again, this is the new spacing with Dreamer Designs. This kit does have several rhinestones. The kitty's eyes there are green rhinestones. There's green and red ones here in the rug and other places. But the rhinestones are slightly bigger, so they also have trouble fitting in the spaces. So my order of operations, if you can call it that from Math Geek terms, is to do the black drills first. Then I go through and do the rhinestones, and that's what we're at now here. So let me find, I've got these mostly kitted up in little ones because there are certain colors where there's a bunch of them. I have them in these giant bags, and then the rest are just little samples of colors, not a whole lot of these other colors, but anyway. So I will do those first, do the black first, and then go in here with the rhinestones and fill those in, because those are the other big drills, and then kind of squeeze everything else around them. And that seems to be the best way to do this one, and it goes much easier once the black drills are placed. So now I'm at the good part of this section. So things should flow much more smoothly, and by the end I'll say, oh, that looks nice, I should keep going. So it's just getting through that first part of getting all those black drills laid down. But this is the first Hannah Lynn I've ever done. The second one is the Mother Earth. That was the one I actually wanted the most, but I missed it when Diamond Art Club had it. So I don't think I'll be buying any more. I held off until I actually got some done to see if I was going to like it, and I think I'll stop at those two. So this will be my first and my second to the last Hannah Lynn. There's nothing wrong with them if people enjoy them. I don't like fighting black drills, and some of it could be that my eyesight isn't the best, and so that's also why WIP and chats are kind of hard. I'm sitting here trying to bend my head underneath the camera to get close enough to see some of these, but this plant, for some reason, has rhinestone leaves. So this kitty over here that's playing with the yarn, it's a really cute picture because I do like knitting, and the kitty that's over here playing with the ball of yarn, got a purple ball of yarn there, must have been into some mischief because this plant got knocked over here. So So I'm guessing that one of the kitties had something to do with that. Bad kitty. So the picture is enjoyable. It's just those black drills. And I'm trying to set myself up again because as I was cleaning all my diamond paintings out and sorting them and looking at them, and now that is a bad drill for rhinestones. I should have picked that up. I'm going to keep my finger in it so I don't lose it. And what's wrong with this one is it lost the coating on the back, so I could still see I just flung it somewhere, but I could still see the number 7 on it. It was almost clear. I'm surprised I didn't catch that before I put it on there. So every once in a while you get one that loses its coating, and you don't want to use those. You want to pull them out when you find them. And that's what these are good for. So anyway, I've been doing a lot of jabbering. Hope y'all are doing well. A lot of bad weather around, and oh boy, a lot of guilt from, I mean, I had to leave my job in many ways. It was time for me to go. The stress was quite high, but also because the stress was quite high, I had no vacation time. And there was going to be no break. So with the government, you have to kind of earn your leave, as you do with most jobs. But at the time I joined, there was nothing like maternity leave. And I had a special needs kid that used up all my leave through the years, both when I was pregnant both times and, you know, had to take maternity leave that didn't exist. So I had to use my own sick leave and annual leave for that. But then my oldest kiddo has needed special appointments, medical appointments, all the way down in Galveston, which takes 8 hours to get there. So that's a couple days leave for every doctor appointment every few months. And then appointments in Austin every month. And so I was having to take off a lot of time. Plus, the kiddo had some troubles in school. She had a lot of trouble with bullying and other kids causing her trouble, which made her not want to be at school. And so there were a lot of attempts through the years from that kiddo trying to get out of being at school by being sick, quote unquote, sick. I'll put the quotes there. There was always something going on, some way that kiddo was finding to get out of class. And all that to say, I used up a lot of my leave, because that's what you do. You love your kiddo. I do love my kiddo. I really enjoy her, especially now that she's old enough to have conversations about politics and history and science and all that. Really fun kiddo. But she just had to get through the torture stage of junior high and high school. And so, anyway, all that to say that I didn't have any leave. And as more and more people were leaving federal service, it meant that more of us were having to cover for those that weren't there. And the workload was harder, and yet I had no leave to ever take a break. So when they offered the chance for me to go at 55, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. So it's somewhat unfortunate that I'm still feeling some of the guilt, because the people that are left behind, they are working excessive hours, but something's got to give. Something's got to change there. So how are y'all doing? My life is pretty boring, although I will be helping my hubby's sister move this weekend. So I will be out of town here. Okay, had a little break there. My kiddo just got home. That's right. I will be out of town, although the kiddos will be here holding down the fort, going to work and all that, but my hubby and I will be helping his sister move, and also he will get to see his son, who lives in Cincinnati, Ohio, but who is flying in for his son's half-sister graduation. So we will be doing family things there for the weekend, which means I won't be probably doing too many videos, although I will try to at least have a couple up and ready to go. I used to be really good at that, having a few in the wings, and I could, you know, take several days off and just upload videos and share them when I wanted them to play, but that hasn't happened lately. I have a couple of PR packages. I've got some other companies approaching me. I'm really excited about a new diamond company that approached me, that offered me a free canvas. She's an artist. She is starting up her new company. She only had like 5 or 6 canvases at the start, but I am more than willing to help out startup companies, and I was honored that she asked me. So it'll take a few weeks before that comes in. So I will be doing that. And what else? One of the companies that makes those vacuum pens has approached me as well. So again, that one's going to take a few weeks, but I've thought about trying a vacuum pen, but I wasn't really sure if that was gimmicky or how that was going to work. But hey, if somebody's going to send me one to try, then why not? So we'll see what that's all about. And then the usual standbys: GBFKE, FG Normal, Paint Some Way. Haven't heard from some of the companies in a while, so I haven't unboxed very many cross stitches lately, and I'm kind of sad about that, because actually for my unboxing stuff, my favorite is unboxing stamped cross stitches. Those are a lot of fun to unbox, and I haven't heard from any of the cross stitch companies in a while. So VIP cross stitch, 7 Great, Biggest Craft, and of course Dream Stitch is expensive, so I can understand why they haven't done anything, but I do kind of miss that. So I might have to get a cross stitch or two just so I can enjoy them. But when you are retired, of course, you have a known quantity of money coming in, but it's much more limited. For me, it was about half of what I'm used to getting in, so I'm still trying to adjust to the financial situation of retiring. And actually right now I have 0, because the retirement people are so overwhelmed with the number of people that left that they're still trying to work their way through the paperwork. And what they do, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna have no money coming in, but what they do is they give you a percentage of what you're supposed to get. I'm gonna switch because I'm going to white drills, and I can't see the white drills on a white tray. So this is my Bella Art de Nicole tray here, and this is letter O, which is the white. So you can kind of see on this one, changing subjects here, that it goes much easier once you get all those black drills in. But anyway, so they give you about 60% of what you're supposed to be getting until they figure out with all the paperwork and everything and get your stuff, all your paperwork and everything all completed. And that can take 6 to 8 months or more. So you're living on less than expected for a while until they figure it out. And I have yet to get anything in the mail, any sort of paperwork, anything like that. So that's okay. We planned for it. But it just means I don't have a lot of extra money to be spending on big diamond paintings or cross stitches for a little while. But in the long term, of course, our government retirement is actually quite low, and that's because we're expected to put in money into our basically IRA type account through our career called the thrift savings plan. And we invest and choose how that money is invested in our career and all that. And then once we retire, we can have access to that thrift savings plan money that we saved up and invested through our years of work. Well, when you leave earlier, of course, you invest less. And also, the stock market hasn't been in the best shape lately. So I will have access to that money here in probably another couple weeks. So I'm not starving or anything like that. And my hubby's been retired now for a few years. So he has steady income coming in, and both of my kids do. And they help out quite a bit. So we're all fine. It just means I'm hesitant to spend extra money on other craft goodies right now. A lot of what I'm doing is based on stuff that I already had. So some of the knitting and crochet projects and some of the other stuff you're going to be seeing on the Patreon side of things are all based on supplies and everything I built up through the years so that I would be able to retire when the time came, because I'd have a steady stream of stuff that I already owned. So I do have plenty of cross stitch to keep me busy. I do have more than enough diamond paintings, as you can see there. So I've just got to figure out how to entertain you all in a way that you want to see with the stuff I already have for maybe another month or two. We'll see how everything all shakes out. And then we'll know. We'll have a more clear idea. But it has been nice to not have to go to work. So I've been working since I was in high school. So this idea of not having to do that takes a little getting used to. Okay, are we looking good? Number 6. I don't think I have any of that right now. I've done that one. I'm going through the big bags right now. Yes, there's lots of this color. I really want to get to that ball of yarn. That's going to be fun. But I'll do some of this over here first, because that I can do quickly. So what kind of diamond paintings are y'all working on right now? You always get to see what I'm doing, but I rarely hear too much about what y'all are working on. I had a question over on YouTube about why do I like Van Gogh so much and Starry Night so much, and I will probably wait and answer that one on YouTube more in a video form because it's a long explanation. But the basics is because if you're trying to like compare other companies and all that, just about every company at some point has or will offer Starry Night. It's just like the quintessential diamond painting. When I started diamond painting years ago, before it was a big YouTube thing, Starry Night was everywhere. And that's because there were no copyright issues with that. So all of Van Gogh's work, as well as several other old masters art that was around before 1923, that's all open source, public domain, whatever words you want to use for that, meaning you won't be hit with the copyright infringement if you do something with that artwork. So that's what started it, is that it's out there. I won't be offending anybody about licensed work and all that, or stolen artwork, and it's easy to compare. But over time, as I've learned more and more about Van Gogh and his story and his life, it's also become just interesting to me. Okay, we're gonna try again here. My kiddo came down to cook food and then came back down to get food for the cats, and I usually try not to talk too much when they're around and making noise. But there will be several breaks in this one because I know I've been just kind of talking, and there's a couple things I thought, I really shouldn't have that in here. So if you notice a few edits, that's what's going on there. It's like I got sidetracked and started talking about things that I thought, nah, I don't need to go there. So this video will have some editing in it, as I'm sure you can tell. But I missed some letter P over here in this corner. But I've gotten all this. Some of this was really hard, and I still feel some poking up. I had to really push down to get the diamonds to fit in this area, and that's because there were larger sections of black in here, and those black drills are just too big. There's another one. I can just run my fingers across and feel them. But those black drills are just too big for the spacing in there, or some bad ones or something. That's why I don't like them. But it's not just Dreamer Designs. I remember having the same issue when I did Cafe Paris, or Cafe at Night, whatever the Paris Cafe at Night, whatever it was. I don't think it was Paris. Oh well. Cafe Terrace at Night, that was it. From Diamond Art Club. That was one of the Van Gogh paintings, and it had a lot of black in it, and I struggled in the same way. So it's that way with all of the companies that use resin. But we got it in there, and I will run a rolling pin over this. They're not trying to unstick. I can just feel that they're not pushed down all the way in some places, but once I push them down, they tend to stay down, which is good. But if you ever do have a drill that you've had to push down 2 or 3 times, take a look at the drill, because chances are it's got a tab or something on it that you missed, and you can pull it out and replace it with something that'll fit a little bit better. So letter M was I thought it was, there it is. Okay, I knew letter M was a big bag. And I still had several of those before I get to the purple and that plant. Looking forward to doing the plant vase and the purple yarn here. So the fun of some of these, I can see why people are drawn to the Hannah Lynn's, is because you can kind of pick and choose these little different elements and work on them. So you're just filling in like a coloring book, all these black outlined areas with various colors. Kind of like stained glass as well. You can get the same effect if you work on a stained glass diamond painting that's big enough. Some of the budget-friendly ones, you don't have the full lines of drills separating the black from the different colors. But if it's a big enough diamond painting and rendered, oh, I missed some more P's on there. Oh well, we'll get them. Is that all the M's? Nope, there's some more. So diamond painting wise, I did not get anything this past weekend, but I do have about 4 Dreamer Designs and 2 Diamond Art Clubs that I've been saving that I haven't unboxed yet officially on the channel. Now the Diamond Art Club ones, I did peek in there to pull out the treasure card, and I got 2 bronze cards with those. So I didn't like open the packaging of the painting or anything, but I did at least get the treasure card out to see if I had enough to get anything with them. I still do not. I think I've got like 30 treasure cards and still not enough for one of their deals with them. Kind of funny. Okay, I'm gonna switch trays again. Switching to this dark brown to do some of this over here. But anything from some of these other premium companies, the prices are just a bit high. So if you do, I mean, I did enjoy unboxing my Jaded Gem Shop, but if you do purchase from there, it's going to take a few months and you're going to pay well over $100. So I was looking at my J walls, my Josephine walls, and I went to Diamond Painting Deutschland just out of curiosity yesterday, just to see what kind of prices they have going after the tariffs. And a Diamond Painting Deutschland will cost about 85 pounds in European or money or euros, whatever you call it. So about $100, but shipping was also 85 euros. So you pay twice as much. I'm glad I got the ones that I got when I did. Maybe things will get better, but yeah, I'm not doing that anytime soon. And I did run into, surprisingly enough, I had one painting from the one with the diamond art that I forgot I had, which is pretty surprising, and also tells me that I have too many, because I should have remembered having that one. That was the only real surprise for me, was that I had a diamond painting that was a Josephine wall, premium diamond painting from the one with the diamond art. Spirit of the Elements is the one, and I didn't remember I had it. So that was kind of surprising to me. Otherwise, I remembered just about all of them. There were a few that I was like, oh yeah. So it is nice to go through your stash every so often, especially if you have a bigger stash. And those of us with channels are, just by the nature of having the channel, gonna have a bigger stash. And that's because we're looking for content. And so we feel a little less guilty, I think, about buying stuff because it makes a video. And also I do a fair amount of the budget-friendly PR packages, and I do like to work on those, which means that my premium diamond painting stash just keeps building up because I have less time to work on them. So I'm trying to finish the WIPs that I have going and work on more of these premium paintings because they are really enjoyable. So I may be trying to back off just a little bit on some of the PR packages that I agree to do because they do take some time. The unboxing part is pretty easy, but to me that's not enough to give a good feel for whether the diamond painting is any good or not. I think you really need to work on it to tell what's the glue like. Boy, I'm missing several here. Oops. That's okay. We can fix that because I see not only the letter P's over there that I will go ahead and grab real quick while I'm thinking about them, because there's only a few over here. Right in this little corner here at the end. And then you can maybe see I'm having to push pretty hard to get those to squish in there. There's one that didn't go down. Okay. But I also missed some of the 3 dots over here in this color. So we'll go back and get those too. Not very many. We'll get them. They were down here at the bottom row. Should have seen that. But I will get my J-Wall comparison out again. So Lisette from Lisette Crafts and Tells, if you're familiar with her channel, I recommend hers. If you've never watched hers before, she's Dutch. And she's a very honest person. She does prefer only premium paintings and only licensed artwork and no AI and stuff like that. But she doesn't judge others, which I think is really nice. Because there are others out there that do judge based on that. And Lisette makes choices for herself, but she doesn't judge others. So she put out a video a couple days ago of her 80 diamond painting content creators that she watches. And she included budget-friendly channels. She actually mentioned me as well as Crafty Chef Diamond, Laura, and a couple others that I didn't know yet. I got several new channels to watch by watching her little video there, but it was really heartwarming to see her saying nice things about everybody. Seems like the diamond painting community has so many fractures at times and controversies that stir up about certain companies and licensing and all that, and she was treating everybody so nicely on that video. So I highly recommend it if you're looking for some other diamond painting content to watch. Check out what Lisette did with that video, because it was very complimentary of so many people out there, and she was able to see the best of each channel, even if she didn't personally agree with some of what they shared. But she did mention my channel, which was very flattering, and it was about the Josephine Wall comparison that I've been trying to make myself work on. Haven't been very successful, so I am going to try to do that this evening later on. I had already uncovered this section of this one, so I wanted to get this section done, but I really do need to do some confetti time, because there are a lot of people curious out there, and that's the whole reason I picked that project, was due to the curiosity for that. Van Gogh. I was talking about Van Gogh and why Starry Night. I have now several different versions of Starry Night, but I have other Van Gogh paintings, and that's kind of early on in my channel. I was trying to show it as an option where you don't have to worry about the licensing issues. So I'm running out of things to say here. I will answer more fully the whole story of Starry Night, but if you've ever looked into Van Gogh's life and how that painting came about, it's very interesting. Besides just the sciencey part of the Starry Night sky and what it looked like back in the 1800s versus what it looks like now, and how he saw it from his eye, because his art supplies weren't up in that bedroom with him. He had to remember what it looked like, and then the next day come down to the room below his bedroom where his art supplies were to try to recreate and paint what he saw in his mind. So it's just a whole interesting life story there that I find fascinating, as well as just a easy diamond painting to get a hold of from all companies. So everybody seems to have covered Starry Night, and I said I don't have a Dreamer Designs one, but what happened was this past Monday, yesterday I guess it was, they released one of the Starry Night canvases as part of their overseas collection. So a smaller version, a little bit more affordable, because those are usually about $40 and you can choose round or square. So if I'm doing a proper comparison, since I have Diamond Art Club, Jaded Gem Shop, Diamond Art Love, I'm trying to remember what all the companies were, Heaven and Earth Designs, I may have to break down and see about getting the Dreamer Designs overseas one and throw it in the mix. So that's what's going on in my world, and hopefully your world is going okay. That ball of purple yarn may have been the only place where those purple drills were used, because there aren't that many left. there's a little bit there. But a lot of these are just little bits of color here and there. What is color U? I'm curious about that one. That one is also standing out to me right now as an interesting area to work. There it is. It's kind of a dark maroonish brown. Not as interesting as I first thought. So, pop it in there. It's another area where there's a lot of black through there, so it's making everything just really tight. Over there, luckily, it's not like a whole black sky or anything. This is just outlining, so there's a little bit of wiggle room from the other colors around the black. It seems to be worse when you have larger areas of the black on there. But you can hear the popping there as I'm trying to squish them in there so that I have room for, oh, this one's going to be tough. Because that was a whole row of black with just one squished in there. We made it work. There's another one. So all this area is just going to be really tight. But hopefully these other brown colors are a good uniform size and not so difficult to try to squish in there. I'm not sure this one will fit. Okay. Whew. We got it to fit. So this is why I usually cringe when I see a lot of black drills. You won't see me doing a Mandy Manzano. Sorry. And she's another artist that did the stained glass, but hers are also subject matter I'm not interested in, with the Disney stuff. And a lot of them are also hard to get because they were limited release. So that was another thing I noticed, is that a lot of the Dreamer Designs canvases that I have are still around. There were very few that were listed as discontinued. There may have only been one or two. But for Diamond Art Club, I was surprised how many I had that were now listed as discontinued. I don't pay much attention to that. And so when I was trying to go through the app and the website to try to find the information I needed for the logging, I was surprised to see that several of mine were indeed discontinued now. You can still find the information, but the way I had to do it was I had to log into my account and go to past purchases and scroll through them to find them. I guess they also have an archive, but their main search doesn't hit the archive stuff. So every time I searched for something and couldn't find it, I was like, it must be discontinued. So then I had to go through my list of purchases to find a link to get to the page, to get the number of colors and the size and all that. And I do have to say their newer boxes are nice because they have that information, but the older boxes do not have all the details about colors and AB drills and all that. And you could just make it up. Make some of that up if you don't care about those details and just kind of guesstimate. You know, putting anywhere from 2 to 4 AB drills is probably pretty good for most canvases out there. But anyway, let's go ahead and finish this plant and then we'll call it good. I see that color right there. I'm curious how the green against the green drills is going to look. There, that looks like just a fun little area to go through and snap all these little green drills in there to make a plant. which I guess could lead me to talking about my event. I have a cover thumbnail for the event thanks to Donna over at Diamond Painting with Friends. She has made it, and I thank her. That was very awesome because I wasn't sure. I mean, I could have muddled my way through, but I wonder what her art background is, because clearly she knew what she was doing and came up with a really nice image for the event. So I can start putting videos out leading up to the event, get my main video with all the rules and everything out there, hopefully in the next few days. But it's very casual, no new start, no licensed artwork. I mean, you can use license, you're just not required to. So we're just going to have weekly check-ins with little drawings, and then a main drawing at the very end for a little bit better prize. So that's the gist of it, and I'll be trying to do a few videos through the week about plants and gardening and herbs and stuff like that. Not too much of this color here. I wonder if this is the only spot where this color shows up. I'll go ahead and throw a few more here since I started mentioning the event. So I'll be getting a few Patreon videos out. Hopefully, I'd like to make some cover minders to give away. Cover minders, needle minders, it works both ways for any cross-stitch friends as well as diamond painting friends out there. So I've got some resin. I've worked with resin before, so it shouldn't be a problem. But I will just do some basic resin stuff and talk about what to watch out for and do's and don'ts that I've learned from my experiences. I'm definitely no expert, but I have made a few mistakes along the way with my resin stuff. One of the main things is how many add-ins that you put into your resin by like colors and glitter and stuff like that. If you put too much in, you have a bad chemical reaction, and either the resin won't set or it sets too quickly and does a flash set, which bubbles up and creates a mess. So you do have to not put in too many extra goodies into your resin mix, because it's chemistry, and you're going to mess with the amounts for the chemical reaction. You also have to pour very carefully if you're doing traditional resin where you mix the A and the B parts together. If you don't get that exactly right, then it either won't set or makes a mess. So you do have to get the measurements much more exact for that than you do for, say, a cooking recipe, because you'll get a mess if you don't. So it's kind of fun, sciencey chemistry stuff. Maybe that's why I like working with resin, but it is a mess, so I don't do it very often. So I do have the supplies for it, but it does make a mess. I've had resin stuck on the countertop in the kitchen from spillage and stuff like that. I do try to work, if I do small pours in the kitchen, then I do try to work on a big silicone mat, but something always drips or spills or whatever. So luckily I have a very forgiving hubby, because he makes his own messes with his own projects and stuff. See that these are just going to be hard to force into that spot. They're just not going to fit very well. Whew. Okay. Yep, we got a couple others trying to poke up here and there. Okay, that feels like it's all flat. That's looking pretty nice. I wanted to see the dark background against those sparkly rhinestones there and see how that looked. Sometimes after you place the rhinestones, they're not as obvious, but those look pretty good there. Pop, pop. You definitely get the popping sound now with Dreamer Designs when you try to squish things in there. And I guess some people like that. I didn't worry about the sound either way. Okay, I think this is a good stopping point because I have to definitely edit this video, but I appreciate you all hanging out with me for a bit and giving me somebody to talk to while I work on my diamond painting and while the house is kind of quiet here. So thank you for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you soon with another video.